you have to ask yourself, do I really want to deal with what I want? And what I mean by that is, specifically in relationships, people are saying, I want this type of person. But you're not thinking about what comes with this type of person, what you're going to have to deal with. For example, let's just say a woman who wants a really successful man. But do you want to deal with the fact that he's busy? Do you want to deal with the fact that he's not going to be sometimes as emotionally available as you would like him to be?
What's going on, everybody? It's your man Rico Hundo here at 8 at the Table, and I just want to say we got a great, spicy guest and topic today. I know everybody has been going crazy about him, and we've been seeing him all over the internet, and I'm just glad that we have him here with us. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Stefan speaks.
That's my man, Stefan, right there. All right. We also got the beautiful Jada.
Thank you. Oh, I got a compliment today. Oh, we starting off on a good page, Rico.
Yeah.
To be, baby.
Stefan got the positive energy. He's just like, rubbing it on. All right, cool.
Right?
We just gonna rock with it. So, Stefan, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and introduce yourself about, or let's dive in about what you do, how you got into doing it, and where they can find you if they don't know, which they probably do. But
yeah, so I'm a relationship coach and author. Been doing this over 11 years now. Got like 10 books out there, and just been all about helping people with relationships and healing, most importantly, and getting closer to God too. You know what I'm saying? Or more specifically, getting more in tune with your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's what's missing from a lot of people, and that would help resolve a lot of issues people are facing.
I agree. Out of your 10 books you said you wrote,
Yeah.
which one is your personal favorite?
Love After Heartbreak. And that's because, again, it's about healing. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people are talking about they going to therapy, but they actually not fixing nothing. All right. And that's no shade to therapists, and that's no shade to people who are trying, because it's good that they're trying. But a lot of times what happens is therapy is just a venting session, and nothing's actually being resolved. They're just learning how to cope and manage the situation. So for me, it was important to do a book that gives them specific steps on how to actually heal and release all that negative energy, because too many people are carrying so much negativity with them, and it's not just affecting them in relationships, it's affecting their health, their mindset, even in business is affecting them.
On their day-to-day life. I personally, I definitely agree with that 100%. What would be, because, Erin, I don't know if you've seen the show, but Erin, she's always a solution-based person. So I'm going to take her spot real quick and just say, what would be one of the steps of, the solutions to that healing that you might have referenced in your book?
Getting things off your chest. It is a huge, huge part of it, because a lot of people never properly express themselves about how they felt about a certain situation. So people may have had an argument with someone, but that's not getting everything off your chest. You know what I'm saying? They may have vented to some people, but again, they didn't cover all ground in how they were feeling. So it's kind of like having an emotional detox. And that's the thing. Detoxing from a health perspective is exact from detoxing from an emotional perspective. From a health perspective, like, you can eat a bunch of good stuff today, but if you've been feeding yourself trash for years, you're not going to get the full benefit of it. You got to clean yourself out fully. And you've got to go through a process of, not like, some people will do a detox and they're still eating trash while they're detoxing. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You got to release all of it, and then you can start to rebuild from there. So it's the same thing emotionally. A lot of people haven't gotten everything out and detox to where now they can really start to see the positive benefits.
That makes sense. I'm a guy that works out, so I could see it. I know, it's just, it's not common sense, but it is. If you really think about how much you've already endured and the negativity, you kind of have to balance it out with the same amount of time with the positivity and whatever aspect that you will be, that you're going to be talking about in that category. Yeah. Jada, you got any questions?
Because I'm thinking, I think that it takes for you to really want to make the change, and sometimes it takes for you to really be with someone that you respect enough to make changes and want to like detox, like you said. And I think that's the hard part, because sometimes you're not willing to change those things about you because you feel like, well, where is this relationship going? I think sometimes people do that. And I think it's not until, people are honest with themselves and say, I have issues and I want to work it out with this person and go through the hard work. It's just like when you make sacrifices in life. It's like, all right, I'm not where I want to be, but I have to chill on the going out or chill on the spending money in this aspect so that I can, better my future. So I think that's kind of how it is in relationships. And I think, well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you
Let me
think?
say something real quick though.
Okay.
So for the people who might say, yeah, you know what, I'm not with someone where I'm willing to do this work and fix it. Well, the reason why you're even with them is because you didn't fix the problem to begin with.
Okay.
So when you don't heal, you are more than likely going to choose the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? So you finding yourselves in these toxic, unhealthy relationships because you won't do the work. So don't even wait till it's not even about them. It's not about whether they're good enough for you or they're doing their part. No, it's about freeing yourself from the nonsense. And then you'll be able to see more clearly, is this really the right person for me? And if not, let me move on to something better. But if you're single, do it now while you're single. Don't wait, because this idea of like, well, when I find the right person, I'll do this. Well, you ain't going to find the right person because you won't do it.
Right.
And you're just going to keep attracting bad into your life.
Yep.
So if someone is single, though, how do they even pinpoint the issues within themselves? Like, do you feel like people...
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Just give it to me, Marie. But just pass it back to you.
Oh, yeah, I got to put my feet up. It's like, I'm joking. I knew... You know what?
Are we doing vertical shots where you can see my feet? Because my laces ain't even tied.
You know what?
Can't see your feet.
I hope you can't see mine either.
Can't see your feet.
Yeah, I don't want to be out here.
I'm not in the shot.
What? Oh, Al?
Yeah, I'm not in the shot. I won't ever be in the shot. Wait, can I? No. Yeah, the mic is in front of me, but I just need my drink though.
Pass me my cup.
Can you put a little sound in there?
Yeah, I agree.
So-
and I'm glad you said it.
Hey, but my question is, how do single people find those issues that they need to work on? Like, if I'm single and I don't have a man, then how do I know my communication is bad, or how do I look into myself to know what it is that I need to fix?
All right. So one, we got to stop acting like we can't see it unless we're in a romantic relationship. You want to see if your communication is bad? How do you talk to your friends and family? I guarantee if people would just sit down and ask friends and family, look, how do I come off? How do I talk to y'all? Am I negative when I talk to y'all? You're going to find out a lot. You know what I'm saying? But also, are you even open to love? So my thing is this. If you are afraid to be vulnerable, you haven't healed. Plain and simple. You don't have to be in a relationship to discover that. Ask yourself that while you're single. Am I really ready to open my heart up, open my heart up fully to somebody coming into my life?
Right.
And if people are honest with themselves, a lot of them aren't. They want someone there without the full vulnerability that comes with it, which is another reason why you're not going to have a successful relationship. Because if you're not going to be willing to be fully vulnerable, you're going to always hold back from this person. They're not getting what they need. They're not going to be able to give you what you need. And now we have the negative cycle.
I think I think for some people, and it was for myself including, at one point it was scary to be able to be my full, complete self with someone or open up. And I think once I started to look at myself and say, look, these are the things holding you back from progressing in your relationship. Once I was able to accept it and say, all right, I am the issue, that's when things were able to get better. So I do agree with that. I think that people are like, okay, if you want love, you have to do the work in order to have a successful relationship.
Absolutely.
One of the things, and I agree with everything that you said, and to just add on to that, one of the things that I did personally to help, correct a lot of the negativity that I had and the honesty that I had within myself was I challenged myself to write, it started with 50 flaws, and it ended up being front and back about 2 pages, so about 4 total pages of flaws of myself. And everybody says, hey, I don't have 50. But when you try, you will figure it, especially depending on your age, you will figure it out, and it started to pour out. And and I'm just being transparent. As I'm writing my flaws down, I'm tearing because I'm like, damn, I thought I was like, I'm a terrible person right now. Like, I got to step it up. And then from once you write those flaws down that you've come across within yourself, that you've identified within yourself, that you challenge yourself to identify, then what I did was I wrote a dash and I wrote why. And I tried to figure out where each one stemmed from and which ones I can change and which ones that I can't change, but I could learn how to maneuver it in a more positive light. That's something that I would say is a great way to try to help being honest with yourself and fixing yourself. I don't even like using that word, healing yourself.
Healing, yeah. Self-healing.
Before you get into that relationship.
I think that's a good way to go about it.
I have a question. You said something about detoxing, and kind of connects to what Rico said. And I'm thinking about this. Is crying sort of a detox? Because some of us, we ain't cried in years. Like, we ain't cried probably in 10 years.
Hard out here. I don't even know what a tear looks like.
Right.
Now, it absolutely is part of detox. So there's a process in the healing where you're writing a letter. And I always tell people while you're writing that letter, a lot of emotions are going to start to come out. Don't hold it back. Let yourself cry. Let yourself be angry. Because again, what you have to understand is that the need or the desire to cry is an energy that you're now trapping when you hold it back. And now you're adding emotional stress to your body. So that energy, you can't destroy energy, you can't create it. It's there. So now it's just going around in your body trying to find somewhere to get out of it, and you won't let it out through a healthy cry. So it's going to come out in other ways, outbursts. You know what I'm saying? You losing your temper, anxiety, all types of other issues. So yes, you got to let it out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes all you need is that one good cry, and you good. You're not gonna need to cry no more.
Like a reset. I agree. I know some people
When was
that
the
were
last time you
negative.
cried, sir?
Right.
I haven't cried in a long time.
You've been healed.
But yes.
His life good. He chilling. You know.
But I remember, like, even when my father had passed in 2007, and I didn't cry for like the first few days. And then finally, like, I was in the car and I finally let it out. You know what I'm saying? And I realized, like, why am I holding this back? I just kept letting it out. But again, I let out so much that after I was done, I was like, all right, that part of this process is done. You know what I'm saying? Now let me move on to the other part of the process. So, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I'll say this. Once we learn how to process what happens to us in life, we will find less reason to cry. We cry because our expectations and perceptions of things leads us to be very disappointed when things don't go the way we want them to, or when we're just thrown off guard. But like for me, I kind of take it as like, it's life. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here, so F it. Just move forward. So for that reason, nothing hurts me to the level anymore of where I even need to feel need to cry. Yeah.
So I have a question. What do you think are some of the mistakes that men and women are making today that keeps them from the relationship that they want?
We got so many to choose from. Well, one thing is not healing.
Okay.
That's for sure. But to go in a different direction with that is projecting negative perceptions on the opposite sex. All right. I think that people are going, and unfortunately, because of the internet and everyone's having different opinions on different things, we're projecting too much onto different groups. And the crazy thing is we complain when it happens to us, but then we turn around and do it to other people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, give people a chance to show you who they are. And if they're not, if you're not feeling them, the vibe's not there, the connection's not there, all right, cool, move on. But don't jump to all these assumptions and conclusions because of, well, people like this are this way and do this. And it's just crazy. I think all these negative perceptions is just throwing a lot off for people who could find happiness in these situations.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to use that every time somebody has something to say about a clip that they've seen of me.
No projecting.
Listen, don't project on me. You didn't even speak to me yet. All right.
Exactly.
So, like, since we're on the topic of social media, do you think social media makes people have like higher expectations, for their relationships or like
absolutely.
set, like, because I know we see a lot of people that are just, doing reels and TikToks and making it seem like they have the perfect home. But again, when we post, we're never posting the bad days. We're not posting when we're arguing and stuff like that. So do you think that's affecting how people look at relationships?
Absolutely. One thing that comes to mind, I was telling my boy the other day, I was like, yo, once upon a time, you was fortunate to go on one vacation a year. All right, growing up, like if we could just get one vacation, we was happy. Now, it's like if you can't take someone on 2 vacations,
3,
you trip, like you
have
broke or you
boats,
this, you know what I'm saying?
and have
Like-
pop the ace of spades while you're there.
Exactly. It's crazy. And again, it's happening in various ways.
It's crazy.
The expectations that men have and women have are being inflated because of everything they see on social media. And what I find also is that social media causes us to look for negatives faster than when we meet people in person. So it's like if you see someone online, you're gonna scan their whole page, you're gonna scan that one picture, and you're looking for that one thing to be like, oh no, I don't want to talk to them. But if you met them in person, your mind goes straight to what you like first. It's a quicker interaction. And so now you'll find these situations where people you wouldn't have given a chance if you met them online, you gave them a chance because you met them in person. And so it just shows how much social media can warp people's perceptions of things.
Right. I agree with that. There's been times where I meet someone and it's a good, genuine like interaction, and then we exchange social media, and then the vibe kind of like changes a little bit, and I'm just like, that's really sad.
That happened to me.
That is so sad. Like I just don't understand it. It's just
I was
crazy
like,
to
oh,
me.
she's one of those.
Right, and that's what and
I
yeah, exactly. And sometimes I feel it too. Like before, not so much now, but I felt like people would look at my page and then automatically just assume certain things, and I'm just like, whoop, there goes that. But I think that social media plays a big part in people's relationships, because even when you're in a relationship, you're like, all right, you're right. When are we going to go on vacation? Or, I want to go shopping. And even with the men, it's like, they're probably looking at all these booties on the gram. It's like nothing but ass on the gram, by the way. Like I can't even, it's to the point where I'm just like, damn,
it's only ass and watches.
Yes. I'm like, I'm like, do I like this now? Because this is literally all I'm seeing. Like I'm starting to, now I'm double tapping ass. So it's like,
And that's another thing too. We also gotta, part of the self-reflecting is we gotta be very conscious of this resume that we are putting out, of the perception that we are going to allow people to possibly perceive us as. Right? So if I am somebody who is posting something and it might, turn off a certain demographic or a certain group of people that I actually would like to know and further a potential relationship with, I got to be realistic and say I'm actually limiting my odds, because I'm willing to be looked at in that light, and I think that we got to be careful with what we do and what we put out, because regardless if it is only a small portion of who we are, we're allowing people to think that is who we fully are,
Take it and run with it, and they're going to run full speed, pass the baton to somebody else.
Rico said one thing. I'm sorry. Rico said something one time, and I thought it was pretty interesting, because I always think when you're hurt and you're trying to heal, you're vulnerable because you're trying to fix yourself. But then you're human. You don't want to, you might want to connect and hook up with somebody. And then when you hook up with somebody in a vulnerable stage, they could hurt you even easier.
Yeah.
Because you're completely disarmed.
Yeah.
So you're already in pain, but you have no discipline.
Yeah.
So you like, it's been a month. So I need to go out there and try. And then I don't want to sound pessimistic. It's just like you attract the wrong person at that exact time. And that person just like hurts you even more. Now you're in more pain. And Rico said this one time. Rico was like, you just gotta forgive. He's like, you gotta forgive and learn to trust. Like that's just probably what keeps you in the pain if you can't forgive. But my question is, if you got hurt people who are hurt and they're hooking up every day, like where are we going?
We're just continuing the cycle. That's the problem. And nobody not nobody, but a lot of these people don't want to look at themselves in the mirror and do what needs to be done. But also understand that, again, we keep getting hurt because we don't understand what hurt is in life. Like hurt is inevitable. You can't escape it. There's no one who has walked this planet who hasn't been hurt. You have to start looking at it as, all right, so for example, I just put a tweet up yesterday because there was this dude that was, he went through this breakup. And it inspired me to put a tweet, and it said, sometimes you don't lose a relationship, sometimes it's you were set free from it. So it's like, you can look at it as, oh my gosh, I lost this person, I'm hurt, they left me. But no, you was probably in the wrong relationship the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
You needed to be let go. You needed to have this breakup. It was a blessing for you. When you start to look at things differently, you're not hurt by it anymore. You're seeing the opportunity in it. So I think it's just that we have to learn to process things differently. And also, again, not having all these expectations on people. Like, to me, I don't expect nothing. I set what my standard is. I tell you what I require, but I don't expect that you're going to meet it because everybody can't meet it. You know what I'm saying? So either you do or you don't. If you don't, all right, cool. We just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not hurt by it because I don't take anything personal. That's the other thing. We get hurt because we take it personally and we internalize it. I don't take nothing personal because one thing I've learned as a coach, so many people are going through things you cannot even imagine. You don't understand their backstory. You don't know what's going on in different aspects of their life. So how they reacted to you in that moment, how they pushed you away, how they hurt you, it wasn't about you. It was about their issues. But you keep making it about you, and now you're absorbing all that hurt, not realizing, they got to do what they got to do, and you need to do what you need to do.
The way I'm looking, the reason I keep looking away because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right, my bad.
Have you read the book, The Four Agreements?
I have not. I've heard of it, but I haven't read it yet.
So one of the chapters, or one of the agreement, is like more than one chapter, I believe, is called "Don't Take It Personal." That was one of the books that I read, and so like it's basically saying everything that you were saying. You know what I'm saying? And I see it. I agree with it. I align with it. I've learned the same exact way, and I've watched other people take so many things personal when you look at it and it'd be like, well, how could you make this about you?
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense. It has nothing to do with you, you know?
Yep.
So I just couldn't agree. Hey, guys, Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements is a great book if you ever wanted to read it.
question, and I know we're living in a sensitive time, very sensitive time. But what are some hard truths that we need to tell ourselves when we're looking in the mirror? Like, I hate to say it like this. Like, if my best friend comes to me at 39 years old and like, bro, I'm about to go try for the NFL. I gotta be like, I gotta be like, you might own an NFL team, but I don't think you're gonna play for the NFL. I don't want to shoot your dream down. I just want to redirect your dream, like you said, right? Look at it different. What are the way we could? I don't want to say hard truth there. How do we redirect the people who want to be in relationships? I'm talking about people who are like, they just want somebody to love and be loved.
So, okay, a couple things that came to mind. So one, again, healing is always going to be a big piece of this. You know what I'm saying? So that needs to happen. But going off the hard truths, one thing, the question that popped in my head was, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to deal with what I want? And what I mean by that is, specifically in relationships, people are saying, I want this type of person. But you're not thinking about what comes with this type of person, what you're going to have to deal with. For example, let's just say a woman who wants a really successful man. But do you want to deal with the fact that he's busy? Do you want to deal with the fact that he's not going to be sometimes as emotionally available as you would like him to be? The price you have to pay being with him and the standard he's going to put on your life, do you want to deal with that? It's almost like if I want to buy a Bentley, everybody wants a nice car, but do you want to deal with the maintenance? Do you want to deal with the attention you're going to get driving in this car? Do you want to deal with that monthly payment? Maybe you will find your happiness in the nice Corolla. Now listen, ain't nothing wrong with the Corolla.
So do you think people need to lower their standards?
It's
then?
not. See, and that's
Not
the thing.
lower it. Their expectations.
It's about finding where you're really going to be happy. So again, some people will say, I want this 6-figure job. But people don't realize some people are working 60, 70 hours to get that 6 figures. Do you want to deal with that? Because everybody's not wired for that.
And so can you?
Exactly. So you're going to be all stressed trying to achieve something that you want, but it isn't best for you. It's not what you need. So I think reassessing, what is it that I really need? Where can I find my happiness? Because again, some of the things that we're aiming for, again, it's like the person who says, I want to be rich. They get rich and they're still depressed. They're still suicidal because money is what you wanted. Money wasn't what you needed. What you needed maybe was a relationship. Maybe what you needed was a happier home. And you sacrificed all that for this pursuit of money and lifestyle that doesn't fulfill you. And the same thing happens with the type of people that we go after, thinking, I want this, but this person can't make you happy.
But do you think people are deciding that they want these extreme things because of them seeing other people have it? Or do you think these are really things that they want internally and they're just like, okay, I want a 6-figure job? Or do you want this woman or this job because you see that other people have it and you want access to it as well?
Because what it is that, yes, they're seeing other people have it. They're being fed this from friends and family, but they're not considering what does it take to acquire this. It's like, okay, I may say, you know what, I want to be a doctor, but that means I have to go through what, 8 years of school, residency. Do I really want to deal with that? Now, once I can say to myself, I don't want to deal with all that. All right, then let go of being a doctor. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not for you because what's required to achieve it doesn't fit you and your life. You know what I'm saying? But we don't think about that. A lot of people are just, especially when it comes to relationships, I want this type of man. I want this type of woman. And then when you have it, like talking about men who want a very beautiful woman. I always say, listen, you want a woman who really looks good, takes care of herself, there's a good chance she might be expensive. If you don't want to deal with the bill that comes with this kind of woman, then maybe you need to find someone else.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. But to sit there and go after this woman and then complain that she requires this much out of you, that's just silly.
Yes.
And now you're stressed, she's not happy, the whole thing blows up, and now you have this negative perception of women where, no, you aim for something that wasn't really best for you.
I like that.
I think to go piggyback off what Jada was saying, I've realized in my life, a lot of people are trying to achieve other people's dreams.
Yes.
And that's usually their detriment and downfall in their life. Whether or not they achieve it or not, it's still their detriment and downfall because the worst thing that people, or the biggest fear I believe people have is starting over, especially later on in life. And if you put in and invest so much time trying to achieve somebody else's dream, to realize that's not where you want to be. And now you got to start over late in your life. And now starting over also comes with the most hardest thing for people, self-reflecting, right? Now you have to identify yourself. And it's a burden on people. And it is because I believe human beings have a natural competitive nature.
Yes.
Right? And it does blur our own vision for ourselves. So and myself too, like I tried to do a lot of things because I thought it was a great idea. My principal told me, hey, people are born, people die, and they need to be taken care of. You find a career within those 3 fields, you'll be good for life. I tried to become a dentist.
Take care of somebody's teeth.
I said, yo, I love my teeth.
You would have been good right
I
now.
tried to be a dentist, right? I didn't work. But moral of the story is because everybody is so everybody, if you're trying to achieve somebody else's dream or you're trying to take a comfortable route, that realistically is not something that you will ever be comfortable doing.
And that's harder to do nowadays because, back in the day, we used to be able to mind our business. You see a nice, you see a nice car driving down the street. You don't got to see who's in it. You don't got to, see who's dating who's in it, like their lifestyle. But now it's like we're all in everybody's business. We're all in each other's business. It's like you see somebody and you think you know them. You know their whole Instagram name and everything. You don't know that person at all. But like, we feel like we know them or we know like their lifestyle or what they're going through or anything, So I think sometimes that's like an issue. It's just like we're forced to see what everybody else has or what everyone else is doing, and that affects now your path. Now your path is straying, or you're not on your path. You're on.
I got a question for the panel. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Let me say one quick thing. So just to show y'all how bad the internet and Instagram is. Quick story, man, he was married, a wife got pregnant. She gained some weight after the pregnancy. He was not as attracted to her. All right. They were less intimate, right?
Mm.
And then he was advised to not look at porn, not look at social media for at least the next 3 weeks to a month. He did that, and he said he honestly was finding himself more attracted to his wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, does that mean that fixes everything? No. So I don't want people to think just removing that will eliminate that issue, but that's how much it can mess with our minds as far as now what we find acceptable and what we're attracted to and all these different things, because everything is so glamorized on IG.
Absolutely. We all want different.
I would be that guy. I would not lie to you.
I do it
Because the porn gives you like mad options, right? You like,
But also with a woman, you're seeing all of these women snap back. They're back in the gym after having a kid. And I'm just like, damn, this fupa growing. Like, I know I need to get up in the gym, but you don't have the time or whatever. But you're still looking, you're seeing what everybody else is doing. And you're just like, damn, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I need to get it together. And like, it's like you'll get there, but it doesn't have to be as fast as the other person, or so it does create like an illusion in your head, or it just makes you feel like you're always less than, or you're not doing things right or fast enough, or you don't have the it does.
But I think also people got to be real with themselves. I'm convinced that we are who we are. We live life to figure out who we are and then maximize that. And some people don't care about looking better.
Exactly.
They don't care about working out. They don't care about any of these things. And that's fine. If that's how you want to live your life, cool. But don't get with someone who has higher standards in that area. Same way, if you have higher standards, you need to ask somebody. I remember one time I went on a date. This was years ago. And the girl was working out. Like, she had pictures on her, or not IG at the time, Facebook, working out, right?
Yeah.
And,
shout out to the book.
you know what I'm saying? But when we talked, she made reference to where, like, there's nothing wrong with letting yourself go after marriage. I was like, done.
Yeah.
Date over. I'm not doing this. Because I already see what your mindset is. I can't work. There's nothing to work with here. I think too many people try to force the issue and hope they can change someone, or I'm going to make them go to the gym. You can't make them go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Some people pay a trainer and still don't show up.
Right.
So it's like,
I used to have my trainer at my. I'm like, look, wake me up, because be at my door, because that's the very true. You know
what? It could be a thing too. Like, people just want to fix people because they don't want to fix themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, I'm getting a tattoo, right? I'm getting my leg sleeve, and one part of my thigh hurt tremendously. One of the advice or tips that I got was, pinch yourself really hard on the other leg. Distract yourself from yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you got these people who are like, ignoring the red flags. If I know I don't want you to be okay, I'm not saying it can't happen, but be okay with falling off after marriage, and that's not for me, I'm not gonna ignore it and try to fix it.
Exactly.
When we cross that bridge, we'll get there. When we cross that bridge, no, that bridge is not coming in this journey.
So you agree? Okay, so you guys agree we need to pay attention to the red flags, like you know what you do and what you will and will not tolerate or accept. So by her saying that, you knew that there was no way you could work with that.
Yes.
Even if she would have still, you just we'll never know.
Most relationships start because people overlook red flags.
Okay.
All right. And the vast majority of people who got married and divorced, they saw issues before they got married and they try to kick the can down the road. Gotcha. It wasn't this person was so amazing and perfect and then they blindsided you. That's BS in most situations, in the vast majority of situations. So yes, when you see, my thing is this, when you see a red flag, it isn't just cut them off. It's address it. Okay. Talk about it. But if in talking about it, you see that we're just on two different pages here, there's no need to force this. You got to be real with yourself. I know I would not be okay with that. And then what people have to understand is it starts with that little issue and then it turns into other stuff. So when I sit down with couples who are going through issues, let's say they're fighting because they're not communicating well. But what it started with was y'all not attracted to each other anymore. So now you're not having sex with him the same. So now he's giving you an attitude. Because he's giving you an attitude, now you start giving him an attitude. Now you start retaliating in other ways. Now it turns into this surface issue that we're addressing, but the root issue was y'all lost attraction to each other. And when attraction goes, respect goes, intimacy goes, communication goes, you will have a hard time finding a very healthy, romantic relationship with two people who are not attracted to each other. They just become roommates at that point. And they might manage it in that way, but they're not going to have the same fulfillment they once had when the attraction was there. So you can't overlook stuff like that because it's going to turn into much bigger stuff later.
You are a true professional, my friend. I like because you could hit it right on the nose. I'm like, damn, that's how it be. Like, yeah, that's it. One situation that you don't talk about it's like a snowball effect.
That's it.
And that is very scary.
I got a question for you guys and girls.
Ladies, women.
So do you feel that we are living in a entitlement relationship culture?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. I think too many people are feeling. So, number one, I think too many people are feeling entitled to a relationship, period. I hate when people say, and this is no disrespect to anyone out there, but I hate when people say everyone deserves to be loved. Because here's the thing. I agree that everyone deserves to be loved, but that doesn't mean you deserve a relationship.
Might be your mama's love.
Exactly. Your mama's love, your friend's love, even a stranger's love. You deserve love in that way. A dog, yes, a pet, whatever. But that doesn't mean you deserve someone to be committed to you and fulfilling your desires and be with only just you. No, that requires certain qualifications. And a lot of people are not qualified for a relationship. So it's like from the root of it, you think just because you're alive and you walk this earth, somebody should be with you. And it's like, no.
Right.
No, everyone doesn't get to have that. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in some work. Yeah. So to me, there is entitlement just on that level. And then even beyond that, what people are expecting of other individuals without even doing their part is getting ridiculous now.
Yeah.
And I think you shouldn't depend on others for your happiness. You should be able to find happiness first within yourself.
But let's stay on entitlement real quick. I'm gonna just give you guys.
There's a lot of entitlement going on right now.
There's two examples of entitlement that I would love for you guys to touch on.
Right.
The first is when a woman makes a lot of money. She feels like she's entitled to the man that she wants, right? She's like, if I make $250,000, he got to make $250 or better. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is when a man makes a lot of money, he feels he's entitled, like you said earlier, to the youngest and the prettiest girl in the world
that he can't manage.
Well, I think that they both can't manage them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that, it's not manageable, but your money or your status or your power, you like, that's what I'm supposed to have. So
I agree. I mean, my thing is, I do think that, and with real respect, right? What ends up happening is this. You mentioned something before about people putting in the work. The problem that I feel that happens when people get entitled to relationships or having entitled relationships, right, are because they did put in some work and they think that their accolades are deserving of what their expectations are, right? So because a man, let's just say, is making a lot of money, he might think that, you know, he needs to be the hierarchy in his relationship, right? But realistically, his wife or girl can be a better manager and better, you know, communicator of whatever they have going on, and realistically kind of be the breadwinner without the actual finances, right? And then on the flip side, when we do have, let's say a woman who, I'm gonna use a different example, Alan. Let's say a woman who's beautiful. She feels entitled to trips. Yeah. She feels entitled to a man with money. But that man with money probably won't, kind of what you said before, won't love her the way that she really wants to be loved. You know, and I do think that certain accolades, because, listen, some women are spending to get their bodies. Some women are working out to get their bodies. Some men are, you know, getting money legally. Some men are getting money illegally, right? And so they're letting these little accolades think that they deserve the person that they want or they think that they need.
Yeah, and so now, in regards to the woman making $250,000, so there's two things that I've observed, all right? So one of the reasons why she's so focused on him making the same or more is because what people don't realize is for many of these women, they fantasize about one day not having to work and being able to stay home once you have kids, but they don't want to lose their lifestyle. So in order to not lose their lifestyle, that man needs to make more than what they make, because you have to be able to cover what she was doing and yourself. So in her head, she's added it up to this high number. Because I even one time talked to a
Is
woman.
that a problem? Wait,
I'm just
are we
explaining
against it or for it? Okay.
I'm explaining this because I one time sat down with a woman who was a nurse, and I said, "Yo, how much does your man need to make for you to leave nursing and stay home?" And she said $500,000. And I'm thinking in my head, like, why do you
Why that
need
much?
$500,000? That doesn't even make sense. But I realized she's just adding up numbers in her head. Well, okay, if I'm making 120, well, then he needs to make that plus mines, plus just to be safe, let's add another 100 grand to that. You see what I'm saying? And we're coming up with these exorbitant numbers that you don't actually need. So I think, and then the other reason why the woman at 250 feels entitled to a man making that much as well is because that woman has evaluated her value based on her accolades. So she's not accepting what a man who has 250 wants. She's processing what she thinks makes her qualified for that man. So it's like, since I have it, I should be able to receive that in return. It's the whole become what you want to receive, which is kind of bad advice a lot of times, because in this specific instance, a man making that much money does not need a woman making that much money. He does not care about that. That's not his focus. So she's worried about the wrong thing to qualify her for that man, which you'll see the man making 250, 500, whatever, marry the girl who's a cashier at Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely.
Damn.
He don't care.
I
Not
told
Chick-fil-A.
you.
Let's do Vaughn.
I told you,
Vaughns,
Rico.
or we can do somewhere else.
Applebee's, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on what he
don't
like.
get Hooters. He'll get a girl from Hooters and end up marrying her.
Well,
He
it-
does not
I
care.
said
Well,
that.
it
They
can't-
ain't gonna believe you.
It can't be
Believe
Rico,
you.
bro. There are a lot of men out there. It just won't be
I'm
me.
gonna do a story, guys. But I'm
Rico's
not
gonna
gonna.
tell you.
Yeah, listen.
You gotta bring a lot to the table for Rico. So listen, you know.
You got to bring something because my mom ain't gonna accept you.
Not
I tell you
Chick-fil-A.
that.
Just said
and I think that's the thing. I think when you find men who are concerned with how much she's making, there's usually some kind of other influence that's dictating that perception. Because at the end of the day, if you meet a woman and she makes you feel good and you're attracted to her and everything is what you need it to be as far as how things are with her, and you have enough money that you can take care of everything easily, it's less of a concern. Now, again, if you're a guy who's like, let's say you're making $75,000, but you have $100,000 lifestyle, you're gonna be more concerned with a woman making money because you're trying to maintain this lifestyle and you're not actually there yet. But let's say you're making $500,000, and with $500,000, you can cover everything: investment, your lifestyle, everything. Her making any amount of money doesn't move the needle. It doesn't help you.
Well, it depends too. Right? It also depends. I get what you're saying, but I'm not there. I think, like, well, for me, I would just say for the men out there like myself, we try to build empires. 500,000 ain't enough. We all got to contribute to this empire.
Oh my
It's
God.
a community
Her little
effort.
50,000
Okay,
ain't gonna
You know what? But even
give me
go ahead.
$5 million and I might reconsider.
If I was a woman making $250,000 a year, and my man made, he doesn't, not necessarily 250, but maybe he's a six figure, like maybe he's 100, whatever.
91,000.
Okay, maybe.
That's
Obviously
68
we have to have a good
after tax.
That's right. Obviously, we have to have a great relationship. This has to be something there are certain things that's gonna have to be, it's gonna have to be a certain way in order for this to work. But I think women who make more money, I think they still want to feel like they have a man that's again, men and women, men are looked at as the providers, the strong one, the one that takes care of the family and everything. So I think a part of us still wants to feel like, if you don't make as much as me, maybe you can't do as much as I'm doing for the family. But at the same time, if you're close and you are still someone who protects the family and takes care of the household in different ways, maybe it'll work.
But there's a shame that gets attached. In my experience, from what I've met women who make a lot of money. And this is just my opinion. Sorry, plus I'm not on camera, so they don't even see me.
They know your voice.
But what I've seen is that the majority of women that I've met that made a lot of money usually deal with men that make less money. And there's a shame attached when they're with that man, when they're around their peers from their job, their peers that does well. they sort of look at him like he's less than. And to me personally, that's crazy. Like, it's just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But now I get it. Like, she wants the extra cushion.
Exactly.
She wants to
I
be
remember-
okay.
She don't want to work.
I remember one time. I mean,
I
because
said this
there's
on 8 at the table.
but
That
a woman
9 times out of 10 does not want to continue working.
maybe it depends on her career, like what her career is.
So let me say this, because I agree with Rico. What happens is, if you actually sit down with a lot of women, and again, there's plenty of women who are in their purpose, they love what they do, they are genuinely career-driven women.
Yeah.
However, I would argue that the majority of them only went down this path because someone told them, don't rely on a man. You need to have your own money. Or again, they want a certain lifestyle and they don't want to wait around to acquire it, so they got to do what they got to do. So they're not in love with their job, they're in love with their lifestyle, all right? But they hate their job, all right? They want to leave, and that's why they still have dreams of, if I can meet a man who makes as much or more than me, then I have the chance to leave this job and end up, still have the lifestyle, but have the relationship too. So a lot of them don't want it, and it's not, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of them have been shamed. That's another thing. Many women have been shamed into being career women. Society has told them, no, it's weak for you to be a housewife. It's weak for you to just want to take care of kids. You need to do something with yourself. But they're not happy there. They're not happy there, and they're taking on all this unnecessary stress, trying to live this life that doesn't speak to their heart.
Right. I think everyone's not happy anywhere right now.
I don't want to go off topic. I just want to say, I don't want to go off topic, but I was on Instagram when the Powerball hit $1 billion, and the people that I saw playing
I played.
were like people I thought that had it all together. I was like, you already worth like $100 million. So even them, they're like, I'm trying to get out.
More.
Billion.
Right. People are never satisfied,
10
right?
times more.
You could be a woman that's in the house, or you could be a woman that's out in the field. I think there's always going to be something, because now when you're in the house, again, your lifestyle is not the same. And now you have to dedicate all of your time, all of your energy to your family and your household, depending on what, you guys have in order. But then, when you're out in the field, you're like, I don't feel like working. I hate my job, whatever. So I think that's why it's so important to be with the right partner, because you have to create a balance. You have to.
But I think that part of the issue is we have to be honest with ourselves about what kind of life do we want to live. So if women were told, be true to yourself rather than be this, be that, then she may have been able to decide that, okay, I know I want marriage, home life, I want to be with my kids. Now I can cultivate a life that sets me up better for that. So what happened? So for that, let's say you're that woman. Let's say you're 21 years old and you've come to realize, I don't want this career stuff. I want to be home with a family. All right, now you can make decisions like maybe staying at your parents' house until you get married is going to be a wiser thing. Maybe rather than going out and getting this high lifestyle, let me just stack my money and so prepare myself for that next stage in my life. I can start to plan better for what I'm setting myself up for. But if I fall into the trap of, well, let me just be this and be a go-getter and start a business. It's like even now, like on the internet, everyone, you'll see some people shame people for working 9 to 5 and act like they got to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not wired for that.
Right.
Everybody's not going to find, that's the thing. Forget even being wired. There are people, if they had to be entrepreneurs, that would be so stressed out, they might commit suicide. Like, it would drive them crazy.
I know how they feel.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody's not built for this. Some people are built for going to work, 9 to 5, get a check, go home, and they're good. And then there's others who are driven that need more, and they have to do their own thing. If we would just be real with ourselves and accept that, then we can set our lives up better for those types of things.
And what he's trying to say in the Rico way is stay in your lane.
And we need all of those people.
Just stay in your lane. Let them be cool how they be cool, and you be cool how you be cool, and everything will work out for you. Just gotta give it time.
Everybody is needed, because I'll be mad when it ain't no bagger at the grocery store, and I'll be like, see, we need people to do every position, because now everybody's getting lazy and nobody wants to do this and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. We need everybody to be comfortable in their position.
Everybody's entitled, because right now we're being told that you can do anything and you can have everything.
Yep.
And the reality is majority won't.
Yep.
Majority can't. And sometimes it's like, you know what? I got to put my pride aside and be like, yeah, maybe my dream is to be the biggest 8 at the table guy in the world. But maybe
With Jada on the
Jada
side.
might be better. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just like you have to be real with your odds.
Yeah.
You know,
But
and
not even just your odds, just real with, again, is it really what you're called to do? Is it really
And your drive and your work ethic. Sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off.
But no, it's cool. It's like, well,
Yeah.
because when you say you want this, ask yourself why.